Hello, beauties! Good morning, and welcome to this week's episode of Literary Food for Thought.
The type of show that all you English teachers, book fanatics, and students just can't resist. Record for you live in Whitby, Ontario. My name is Maddy.
And my name is Matt, and together we're here to bring you
the latest,
greatest,
literary food for thought.
Today, we're going to be comparing and contrasting the similarities and differences between the characters Nick Carraway and Banquo, respectively from F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby and William Shakespeare's Macbeth, two of the most well-known works of literature in all of history.
Nick Carraway is the best friend of Jay Gatsby, and Banquo is the best friend of Macbeth. As seen in both stories, Nick and Banquo are both very close to protagonists. For the most part, they are both innocent bystanders who have done no harm, yet still become involved in the affairs of protagonists and end up suffering as a result.
Even though Nick supports Gatsby's attempt to win Daisy's heart, and Banquo supports Macbeth in his endeavors to become King of Scotland, both find the efforts of the protagonist quite questionable in terms of how ethical their decisions are. Banquo worries that his friend is causing all these deaths and tragedies, yet still remains hopeful that Macbeth can still succeed as king in a way that's fair to all. Nick, on the other hand, watches as Gatsby strives to win the heart of Daisy. Nick seems to think that Gatsby would be a better husband than Tom, but also realizes that Gatsby has unrealistic goals and that his methods are not what Daisy wants, nor needs. Even though he has no ill intent in his parties or the things that he does for Daisy, Daisy has never experienced a true feeling of drive towards Gatsby. So, despite everything that would tempt Nick or Banquo to tell their friends otherwise, they both continue to remain loyal and continue to believe in them.
Which is interesting, because they do remain loyal to their friends until the end. Banquo holds his doubts about Macbeth and suspected him of killing Duncan. It is this very suspicion that results in Banquo's murder. Macbeth realizes that Banquo thinks he may have killed Duncan. He takes action into his own hands for the second time and has Banquo murdered. Although Banquo had his trust in Macbeth, he is ultimately betrayed. If he hadn't been so loyal to Macbeth, he likely would have stepped forward and stated his fears outright, instead of just laying his guard down and reaching his demise.
Nick had very little reason to trust Gatsby, but he did anyway. This was not good for him as well. Although it didn't result in the end of his life, it did result in the crushing of his spirit and his loss of positivity about the world. Nick cared deeply about Gatsby, which is what led him to getting so involved with his affairs with the Buchanans. He remained by Gatsby's side despite the negative consequences, such as the emotional strain he was placed under. By remaining by Gatsby's side, his worldview was forever tarnished, and he lost the person he held the most faith in.
However, Banquo has more reason to trust Macbeth. They have been friends for quite a long time. There are many times when Nick harbors a suspicion for things Gatsby says, believing him to be possibly lying about where he went to school or whether or not he truly was awarded military honor. However, as the kind and caring character Nick is, he still chooses to give Gatsby the benefit of the doubt.
Another topic that connects Banquo and Nick is the prophecy of the witches in Macbeth and the green light in The Great Gatsby. They are both very similar. They both serve the purpose of providing a future hope for both protagonists to believe in. For Macbeth, he believes in his destiny to become king and retain his title. For Gatsby, it was to hold on to his hopes in order to win Daisy's heart. Nick and Banquo are both present to witness the future that Gatsby and Macbeth both strongly believe in, and Nick admires Gatsby for his strong hope and determination, while Banquo admires Macbeth for his courage and bravery.
Nick believes that Gatsby truly did love Daisy at first, but as he grew to understand Gatsby on a deeper level, he realizes that this likely wasn't true. With the lives led by the rich people Nick surrounds himself with, he began to understand that perhaps they weren't the people he thought they were, and they only have their own selfish desires and plans that allows them to live the quote-unquote perfect life. Banquo began to understand this in a way slightly different to Nick. As soon as Macbeth told him about the good fortune to befall him, he began planning his way to achieve it without caring about the consequences that those around him would experience, even going as far as to murder some of his closest friends.
Both Nick and Banquo suffer, even though they have not done anything wrong. Banquo ends up being killed by Macbeth for being a threat to his royal authority, while Nick remains alive but instead develops a deep insecurity of whom he can trust or believe in due to the careless actions of others. Both characters are faced with a fate that neither deserves. Their inevitable and cruel fates are factors that make them even more similar in character.
On the other hand, Nick continues to place Gatsby on a pedestal above all others, because of his hope and determination for his life. Gatsby truly believed that he could change the past, and thus change his future. He believed that he was unconquerable, and if he dreamed it, he could have it. A great ideology to have, but often impossible. However, Nick frequently mentions how admirable this quality is, and pushes Gatsby forward despite not being certain of Gatsby's actions and what the results might be. This separates him from Banquo because, while Banquo acknowledges Macbeth's bravery and that he used to be an honorable man, he tries to keep him grounded and realistic within his goals and what he can achieve, an effort which he has not succeeded simply ends up being killed for.
Well, I'm confident we've covered enough content between Nick and Banquo. That concludes our segment for now. We hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you very much, and please tune in next time for the analysis of A Midsummer's Night Dream versus The Catcher in the Rye. Goodbye!